Good afternoon, Lenesik.
Good afternoon.
My name is Adekunle Olanipekun, and I'm the
Okay.
team lead of this initiative. This initiative basically is to acquaint young lawyers, particularly, to big wigs in the profession, and also to learn from your story, from your experience so far. And it's good to have you on the show today. So, Lenesik, without wasting much of your time, can we meet you?
Okay. My name is Yakubu Philemon. Though many people know me as Philemon, that's actually my surname. And I'm a lawyer and by God's grace, a senior advocate of Nigeria. I I started my practice in 2005. I was called to bar in a private law firm in Katsina where I was serving. Thereafter, I came back to the FCT here in Abuja, particularly, and I started working in the law firm of Zachary Sokfa SAN, a former Attorney General of Kaduna State, two-time Attorney General of Kaduna State, who was also a junior to JB Majiagbe SAN. So I am a professional grandson of JB Majiagbe SAN. And from there, I moved to another law firm where I worked for a few years. Habib Aliyu and Co., a former Attorney General also of Bauchi State and a former minister as well. Then I worked there till I became head of chambers. And after I clocked 10 years at the bar, I started my own practice in the name Yakubu Philemon and Co. And since then, I've been practicing law. And in 2023, I was conferred with the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria by the Privileges Committee of Legal Practitioners.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
to what a very lovely and interesting
Yeah,
journey.
thank you.
So, Lenesik, can you please tell us what motivated you to study law?
Well, so my background is such that is I quite funny. I grew up in a university community in Zaria precisely. My dad used to work in ABU Zaria, and his office was somewhere around the Faculty of Law. So we also had neighbors who were lawyers. In fact, family friends who were either lecturers or law students or lawyers. So I used to see lawyers around and around. So anytime we used to talk, they would say, um, law is the best art course that you could do. But somewhere along the line, when I went starting my secondary school, I wanted to study business admin. I had an interest in the military. I wanted to join the Air Force. But again, coming back to the time of decision when I was about writing, when joined the senior secondary school, I met a law student then who now introduced me to the course law and started talking to me and started counseling me. He became my mentor. He's still a lawyer in this town. Up till now, we maintain that relationship. He's still someone I look up to up till now. And he counseled me into studying law. And when I graduated from secondary school, of course, I had made up my mind to become a lawyer. So even when my parents wanted me to join the Nigerian Defense Academy, I said, there's no law in NDA. I can't go to NDA anymore until I become a lawyer. So that was what motivated me. What motivated me also was the fact that I saw how we had a nuisance issue in our neighborhood, and the lawyer was the one who solved that issue for us. And I said, "Wow, so it's good to be a lawyer." For the first time, I saw a lawyer in action. Then I was in primary school. Then the whole idea began to ring in my head. Then, of course, I also love the appearance of a lawyer and the class it involves. So these are the motivations that made me to study law.
So, while preparing for that journey, were they jurists or legal practitioners that also inspired you?
Okay, so legal practitioners, yes, were surrounded by lecturers because
Okay.
it was a university environment. So we had Dr. Andy there, who was our next door neighbor. We also had Dr. Audi, who was a family friend, who that's the late husband to Professor Audi, who now later became the chairman of Law Reform Commission. So these were lawyers that I knew. Of course, I also knew Professor Chukol, whose daughter was in my class also, and he was a close friend to my own biological father, my dad. So these were people that I know. But also growing up, I always heard my those around me talk about Justice Mohammed Bello, talk about Justice Muhammad Nasser, and the rest. So these were names that got to hear. And then along the line, by the time I became a law student, names like Gani Fawemi, SAN, then it wasn't an SAN,
Then,
Gani Fawemi were names that we all had around the faculty. And then, of course, we read some of the arguments in law reports, and I attended Ahmadu Bello University's
yes.
area. So around these were names that we all had. So these were persons that I got to meet in my early days of my journey to become a
Oh,
lawyer.
yeah.
But when I got into practice, I while in the law school, while in Lagos, I met Dr. Wale Babalakin SAN. I got inspired about the fact that he's a senior lawyer, not just a senior counsel, but a PhD holder, and also a lawyer in business. Then he was still on the MM2 project, and I saw that he was also building a facility within the law school then. So I got inspired by someone like him. Then in practice again, right now, I have two mentors. Well, contrasting mentors, I may say. I have, I have one role model and a mentor. I have a mentor in the person of the immediate past president of
Mm,
MBA, wise Yakubu Chinoko
yeah.
Mekio SAN, with whom I've had a relationship spanning over a decade since my early days in practice. And then, of course, one of the role models I have, anytime I see him in court, I admire his submissions. Sound advocate, Chief Ole Olanipekun
Yes.
SAN, someone I always admire watching in court and also reading his briefs and also hear him speak. So these are advocates that I always look up to.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
Yes,
Yeah, good to know.
yes.
So my next question now goes, flowing from this response you gave, what do you think about pupilage in the profession? In the profession?
Well, pupillage is something that I have benefited from. So my view is that every lawyer needs pupillage. Pupillage is something that I think should be institutionalized, because I recall that when I was when we were in the Young Lawyers Forum, when I had the privilege of serving as the chairman of Unity Bar Young Lawyers Forum in the back then, years back, when we invited our resource persons, I recall what Paul Irokoro SAN said, that at a time in this country, pupillage was mandatory. So because pupillage was mandatory, that is why you have those class of lawyers, particularly those that were called to bar around 1978 down to early 80s. They turned out to be very good. One of the best sets we have is 90 class of 1978, and these were lawyers who were mandated to do pupillage for at least 5 years. And when pupillage was mandatory, lawyers were forced to learn under a senior, because you wouldn't learn everything in the classroom. Law school would not teach you everything you need to know about practice of law. And even if you don't want to practice law, even if you want to be an in-house counsel or whatever strata of the profession you want to take, it is that pupillage you engage in that will give you a guide. Yesterday I recall that we had a seminar on the summit on lawyers in business, and I tell you, there is no way you can do well in business as a lawyer if you've not had a stint of experience with courtroom practice and something within the law firm, because that is where you learn how to understand agreements, how agreements are enforced in courts, whether it is an arbitrary agreement, arbitration clauses that are enforced. So these are the things that will guide you. So when you go to that in-house organization, that organization as an in-house lawyer, you are able to advise appropriately, and then you remember, okay, we remember we did a case like that. If you remember the panel, the lady that sat on the extreme there, who had a courtroom experience with some of this commercial litigation, spoke better. She had more experience to deliver on the panel because she had a pupillage in a law firm and then was able to carve her niche in a particular area of practice. So I encourage that lawyers, as much as they have the opportunity, young lawyers should engage in pupillage. Minimum prescription 2 years, because that pupillage will give you the opportunity to be able to build a base in your career as a lawyer. Wherever you now find yourself later on, you'll be able to build on that experience or to develop that experience as a lawyer. And who knows, that pupillage may even change your trajectory in the profession.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, NSC. Thank you, because you are part of the people that have lend their voice to the topic pupillage. It has been a
Yes.
sort of
Yes.
controversy out there, particularly among young lawyers.
Yes.
But thank you for the clarification and the advice or suggest recommendation. Let me put it that way. So let's see. My next question is I would like to know, or my audience would like to know, since you started this practice, has there been a case that you did that got you fulfilled as a legal practitioner? Probably a pro bono case, or probably a commercial transaction.
Wow. Okay.
Yes,
I will mention two, and they are trial cases. Okay, one is a trial case, another one is on appeal. So I'll start with the trial case. I had a trial case that had to do with a very bogus claim against our client who happened to be a government organization, Federal Airport Authority to be precise. And this particular set of traders had a claim of over 24 billion naira against them. We argued the case at the Federal High Court. And I was so happy that we got judgment. And the Court of Appeal now affirmed the judgment of the trial court. Now they are in Supreme Court, and we're waiting for the date of it for date a date for hearing. And that particular case gave me fulfillment because the organization I represented would not even be wouldn't have been able to pay, and that the claim from the claimants then were very bogus and outlandish in nature. So that gave me fulfillment. Then the second one was someone I represented at Court of Appeal. He had lost his case at the trial court and was convicted and sentenced to death.
Wow.
We took up the appeal and then looked at his case file, reviewed the judgment, and came up with 5 grounds of appeal. To our satisfaction, the Court of Appeal found that the death sentence was wrongly entered and then discharged and acquitted him.
Wow.
On that particular day, we almost clapped in court. Wow. We almost clapped for the panel in court, and then he was a free man. He is still a free man now, and he is enjoying his freedom. He has a second chance at life. Quite a number of times he sent me messages appreciating me and the family. So it gave me fulfillment because one innocent man was going to the hangar, but with the use of law, we've been able to take him out of the hangar.
Thank you so much for your good work.
Thank you.
So let me take my last question, or second to the last question. There's a bonus question. My second to the last question is, we would like to hear your advice for young lawyers, particularly because this program is actually about young lawyers, although some senior lawyers are also learning from it. What would be your advice for young lawyers 1 to 5, 1 to 7 year post-call, even 1 to 10 post-call?
Okay, so my advice, I wouldn't go into the issue of you must be serious, must be focused, and all of that. My advice is, first of all, you have to understand why you are a lawyer and what you want to become in the profession. So that will guide the young lawyer on what to do while being a lawyer. Not everybody will end up as a senior advocate. I keep saying that. For some, being called to bar is just another degree, or it's just a degree, or it's just a certificate that they have. But for others that really want to practice law, what I would encourage you to do is that you should learn the law as much as you can learn the law, and always make it part of you. Pupilage is also very important for a young lawyer who really wants to practice law, because if you want to be a senior advocate or a high court judge, or you want to be a successful company secretary, it is important that, or in-house lawyer, it's important that you learn the law within a law firm, within a legal practice, and it's important that you take that. Then another advice again is what I will repeat what my principal told me when I was leaving his law firm. He said, this book of the law shall not depart from your mouth or your heart. You meditate upon it. So you always have to update yourself as a lawyer. Always update yourself and learn. I was talking about mentors and role models. Your mentor is the one that mentors you and teaches you the law on one-on-one basis. Then your role model is someone you study from afar. He may not necessarily have a personal relationship with you, like I don't with Chief Olani Pekwesian. I don't only on greeting terms, but I learn a lot from him, from his advocacy skills, how he dresses and how he talks to the court. So you pick a senior counsel that you have seen and learn from his mannerisms, how he speaks in court, how he talks, how he writes processes, and how he writes his brief. And also, don't stop reading. You always have to read. Read especially on the area of law you want to practice or the area of law you want to become. So don't stop reading. That's just there's no shortcut to it.
Thank you so much, NSC. It's been a very educating session. Yes. Thank you so much for honoring us on this show today.
Welcome.
Thank you. God bless you.
It's my pleasure.